School matters. Hi, I'm Tim Royers, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Ask your kids about their day, meet their teachers, and cheer them on. Public education is powerful, but with you positively involved, it's simply unstoppable. Your attention tells your kids school matters, and so do they. Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, this is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Blackshirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
Was it fallback?
Yeah, we're getting an hour.
We'll gain an hour. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. We'll take care of all your imaging needs, and I will tell you, I will be seeing them here in the next 10 days, and they will get you a good image, and then obviously a great game plan, hopefully, for some better days. And that's obviously what's hopefully in store for Nebraska. Falling to USC last night, 21-17, and hard-fought game. There was a lot of highs and lows and some disappointment. And for Nebraska, it's look, out of the last three games, you lose two. One on the road to Minnesota, which I think was a significantly different loss in the way that it looked as far as like the controllables. And then last night, I think it was probably, more disappointment because you weren't able to take advantage of some multiple opportunities, Harrison, to, put the dagger in the heart and win the game. And even if it isn't perfect, those are the type of games that you got to gut out, right? If you're trying to, take that next step. That doesn't mean that, all is lost and, pack up the bags and the season's over. It's just, I keep my analogy is, and I keep saying it, and I don't know if people are listening, but I had a couple friends that play professional golf, and I have one really good friend that played college golf and played professional golf in which would be the Korn Ferry Tour, but it was the Nike Tour back then. So we were high school friends and still friends to this day. And we were just talking, and at this time I was playing professionally. And I was talking about how the little bit of the struggle to go from, okay, I was a really good situational player, a decent starter, but I felt like I left a lot of meat on the bone. And that's probably a fair assessment from last night, right, Harrison?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll get into it.
Right. And so he was saying, you're no different than where he was saying where he was. And he said, I was, meaning talking to himself, when he started to get really good at golf, and he played golf at Kansas, and he was the number one guy at Kansas for a season or two. And he said, the hardest thing for him is when he went from a 6 handicap to scratch. And you wouldn't think that. You would think when you first picking up a golf club to get to a 6 handicap, he's like, oh, that's easy because it's the big things. He said, the 6 handicap, it could be like, I need to hit the fairway on this course, a certain part of the fairway, so I can have a shot at birdie. And if I hit it on the wrong side, I'm playing for par, and then that's where the bogeys come in. So when you look at Nebraska, it's the little things, right? It's the pre-snap alignment on offense. It's the pre-snap communication or a pre-snap alignment on defense. And then it's execution. It's anticipation. And then also it's being able to adjust, and I'll call it internally, the guys that are playing, because those are the guys that control what happens out there, and so, series by series, play by play. And then when times get tough, that's where the little things that's what you depend on. You go back to your fundamentals, alignment, assignment, aggressiveness. And that could seem very easy because you could just spit it out and be like, oh, well, you got all the answers, right? Well, that's what under pressure, it generally goes back to fundamentals. Under pressure, and you have to think and anticipate what type of play they're going to play. Lincoln Riley's really not going to change his stripes, right? You want an example, right? And this is just one play, but this is also, I remember when Nebraska played Oklahoma down there when Scott Frost was here. Also, I think I remember seeing it. Lincoln Riley with Caleb Williams. I'm just thinking Caleb Williams in a game, in the first game when they was at USC and they lost to Utah, but it was under pressure. So last year on a 4th and 1 play, he ran speed option, old school, way back in the day, my type of play, right? Yesterday, what did they do on a 4th and 1? Speed option in the second half. Those are the things, those are the tips as a player you have to have and be able to, you always take notes. You always highlight stuff because you're going to play these guys and you're going to play these coordinators. You're going to play these players and all that once again. And those are the type of things where you go back onto it. And then when you really get under pressure and you have your just kind of like non-negotiables, doesn't matter the defense or whatnot, doesn't matter the offensive or the defensive lineman if you're an offensive player. You got to be able to execute, and that's where they need to just get a little bit better at, and a lot better. They need to get a little bit better at it on a day-to-day basis and get a lot better at it under pressure. And then you'll see the meat on the bone won't be so much meat on the bone. And, so there's, obviously the disappointment in, losing, your third game. It was a little bit of winner take all, which, those are the games you should really look forward to. You had a great atmosphere and obviously a night game on national TV, and there's probably a lot of disappointment. And then, you throw in the factor that your quarterback's banged up a little bit. Elijah Pritchard's was, I guess, banged up some. Not guess he was. And then obviously.
Yeah, did we get the update on Spindler?
Yeah, nah. I think Spindler,
on where he's at?
I think Spindler finished the game, right?
Okay. He's up, but no, he was okay. He did finish.
I think Spindler, Evans, and Latowski finished the game.
Oh, okay.
And then it was a mix-up, and I think Elijah Pritchard got hurt, so they had to take Turner Corcoran to left tackle. And then they brought in Tyler Kanak at the right tackle, I think, at the very end.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking Spindler wasn't able to finish.
Yeah, so I think that's where they were. But that's a lot of shuffling, though.
Yeah, it was.
So you're taking your starting right tackle, who's your third team right tackle, because Gunnar Gatula and Teddy Prohaska are out, and then you're switching them to left. Now that happens in the game, and that's where you want to have depth, and that's where, for the most part, to be honest with you, you want to look at some positives. I felt like Nebraska's offensive line handled their business. You can't deny that, and it was unfortunate that, Dylan got hurt and then, kind of really, sputtered after that. And it was a little bit in neutral before that, but really started to sputter after that. And, couldn't get it going enough to, pull out that victory.
Yeah, I was, if you had told me it was 21-17, that sounds like a game Nebraska wins. We were kind of lucky that Lincoln Riley was being so much like Lincoln Riley in that game. And that's where the biggest opportunity to me feels like really missed it, because they were committed to throwing the ball for whatever reason. That first drive, I couldn't believe they get to the red zone and they start yucking the thing in the yard. And it's like, let's just ignore that. King just brought you down here. He's averaging 9+. At that point, he was averaging like 15 yards a carry.
Yeah, he went 5-yard carry, 6-yard carry, 16, 13, 17, 19. Oh, we don't need you anymore. We'll just throw it.
And I couldn't believe it. And that's, missed opportunities. That's where I was like, man, Riley, if this is what they want to do, this serves Nebraska well. And he finished what? Yeah, 9 for 23 with 1 interception.
Yeah.
And then the second half, they committed to the run a little bit more. But even then, they still were using Maeva's legs more than Hill at times. And I thought that was playing right into Nebraska's favor.
Yeah, and the second half, I think they, went back to, or they went to what was actually working and actually tried to win the game.
Yeah, and I think they told the quarterback too. It's like, hey, not your day in the air.
Yeah, well,
we haven't exploited the QB run yet, and then he finally started hurting us with his legs too.
Yeah, and so what they were able to do is withstood the storm, and especially coming out in the second half, and Nebraska wasn't able to score on the first couple drives. Right. And so then it allows them to crank it up and tie the game after, the missed field goal. And then it right there, they were like, okay, we got a little life. And here's what he did. And, you got to give him credit for it, where he was like, okay, we're doing pretty good in the conventional run game. That's the handoff run game. All right, so they're he's pretty
they're
much
running the counters.
It's like
all day.
like 20 to 20 yard line.
Mhm.
Okay, King, you're gonna do your business, and then how we're gonna soften them up for eventually getting into the red zone, which is our knockout punch, is we're gonna start taking shots. So we're either gonna you told your receivers, all right, we got a little bit better favorable wind behind our back. There wasn't a lot of wind last night, but we're gonna give you chances to make plays, right, on some deep balls. And Nebraska you had pretty good coverage. Either you're gonna catch these balls, and they had 2 NFL receivers, and then they got aided by a couple questionable pass interference calls, especially the one in the end zone, the one on their sideline. I didn't like the call. It might have been a pass interference call. I don't like the call so late after the result of the play. That means it was not a catch. That means if he did catch it, you wouldn't have thrown it. But since he didn't catch it, you threw it. You throw it no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. Now and so
I thought the refs were inconsistently consistent. They're letting them play, and then as it went on, they're getting tighter on both teams.
Right. So which is weird.
Yeah, it was
in the
weird.
beginning of the game. You let it all slide, and then when it got tight, you started to call it kind of USC's way, but really tight.
Mm-hmm.
Get control of the game and get out of the way from the very beginning. And so you're right there. But also you got to really study the psychology of when they take shots like that. So when you're running mesh routes and it's let's just say a bang bang play, it's harder for them to call pass interference because it's so quick. Well, when you're taking shots down there, it's just literally taking a spotlight and putting it there. And we're going to take a shot on our sideline.
Mm-hmm.
So we can kind of get you by peer pressure, let's call that. But nevertheless, they use the aggressiveness in their play calling to soften up the defense and go back to the conventional run game. Because what they would do, they come out and run a play and see, I used to call it look and see. Let's look and see what we get, right? And then they're going aggressive. Or they would come out aggressive, take a shot, right? They got a couple 30 yards, and then we're going right back to the conventional run game. And then the death blow in the second half was RPO, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they pretty much kept it in the quarterback's hands down in the red zone.
Yeah, and they were quick. Anytime they had a successful play on those big shot plays, they'd line up quick.
And then go right back to the conventional run game.
Yep.
And then you get into the red zone because you've conventional run game down there. So this is what you expect. And they ran the RPO action off of it down on the south end,
mm-hmm.
right? And that was in the third quarter. And then they're like, they got on the heels of the quarterback run game, RPO, and then ran essentially a fake reverse. And then they got in on the 2-point conversion, right? So now the game's tied. And, you're going back and forth. And then obviously, unfortunately, Dylan gets hurt. And, Nebraska, and it takes some time to adjust that, right? So everybody that was calling for TJ Lateef and stuff like that. He made some.
But he played good for
he handled
all things
himself.
Considering.
He handled himself a little bit. The little things, right? Is what you got to understand. Simple things is what you have to be willing to expect, and then I think Nebraska did a good job when he was in there overcoming. And a little simple thing like this, when he had a chance, he was running towards Nebraska's sideline. He had the ball on the inside hand. Now it was a forced fumble, but it went out of bounds. That's just simple ball handling, and that's experience. But he's just trying to make a play, and that's what you have to understand when you're coming off the bench and you hadn't played in since Houston Christian.
Yeah.
Then it's a totally different game than what you're playing. And that's rightfully so. Dylan's the starter. And then they were trying to probably on the fly, trying to figure out, okay, what do you really know? And we can trust you to execute in this type of game, in this magnitude. And then you were hoping and assuming that the defense was going to make a stop or two, right? And so that's where, then the time started to go, and then you got backed up and that the coffin kick with their punter and Lincoln Riley in the fourth quarter and put Nebraska at the 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, and I have no problem with Nebraska knowing that they had plenty of time, and you kind of ran it out of there, and you got the 25-yard line or so, right? And then we went in 2-minute break. And then we tried the tunnel screen, and then USC knew that you couldn't run anymore because you had to score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where maybe the missed field goal was so important, but that's also where you had to understand that, okay, where are we at and what do we need to do? And we need to execute a little bit better. And I think everybody's going to focus on that last drive or two, but you needed to be more efficient in the second and third quarter.
Even that first quarter.
Yeah, but I'm just in particular the second quarter.
Yeah, for sure the second quarter.
Because you had opportunities, because
Mhm.
you got to think you had that 7-minute drive. You really just had all the momentum and you beat them up physically. You had control of the game in doing well enough defensively by effort and doing decent enough in the conventional run game. Jaden Maeva was horrible throwing the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 105 of his 130 yards, 105 came on 4 plays. 2 explosive plays and 2 mediocre or medium range.
A lot of it was just great coverage too.
Right.
It was just the defense was playing stellar. But
you got to deal with that though.
Yeah.
You got 2 NFL corners or receivers. You got NFL talent all over on the offense,
just didn't take advantage of it.
And they're going to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
So he had 9 completions. 4 of them went for 145 yards. All right, and he had 14 or maybe even 16. I think he went 9 for 25 or 9 or 23.
Yeah, a lot of it. Well, they had that flea flicker.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So then you just gotta, look where you're at, and then that's why I think the second quarter was so important because you had the long physical drive, and then the next 3 drives, I think total possession time was at or just over 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So one drive was more than the next 3. That's where I think we needed to really be more efficient in execution, and maybe just me and you talk basketball all the time. All right, we're coming out. We got a 12-point lead. We won't. You might think it's an empty possession because we didn't score, but we went down to like 6 in the shot clock.
Right, we're not just yucking it up
right.
As soon as we cross the half court line.
We had a good open shot, and we missed it. Right, but we executed, right? And then you do it again. And then next thing you know, they're panicking. So here's what people don't understand about like offensive philosophies like Lincoln Riley, and you'll see it with the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Like, even when they're not scoring, but they're playing at their like their pace, it's ramping it up. You get what I'm saying? I'm serious. They're like winding it up.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's when you got to like, hold on, we got to stop it, because they're used to doing everything on rhythm, and then they're banking for that rhythm to go on. That's when you just said to in your mind, in the naked eye, after a big play, they hurried up. There it goes. It's a momentum. They're just like, they don't go from, a little pebble that ends into an avalanche. They go from pebble, avalanche. They just skip the middle part. You know what I'm saying?
That's a perfect way to describe
right.
it.
And so that's what they like to do it. And they like 4 or 5 of those drives, pebble, avalanche, done. You go obliterated, right? And so where Nebraska, what really lost is where they're able to kind of stop that or could have stopped that momentum, is been able to string some plays together offensively and then obviously defensively. And you got to give USC credit. They were able to adjust and kind of withstand the physical, nature of the game, and where Nebraska seemed like they had the advantage of being able to push them around. And so
we did a little. I mean, that's what I think what bothers people is like we did have that advantage of shoving those guys around. And
I mean, they were offensive line wise and run game wise, were getting after them. It was
they were banged up. I mean, that was a banged up unit for
USC
coming in there on their offensive line, and that's where you really need to take advantage of it. And again, as far as I was surprised by knowing it's a weakness for that defense to stop the run. Still a little bit surprised about how bad they were getting gashed.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a killer. And then I think if that's the game that in my mind played right into Nebraska's hands with the way Lincoln Riley was calling it. Like, I understand the pebble to avalanche, but they needed to get. I think they could have come out with that one. And
I think we
dominated.
started the pebble. We gave him the pebble.
We gave him a few.
Yeah, we gave him a little bot.
Oh, that one didn't work. We'll give you another one. Don't worry about it. Do you want to talk to the fan base? Walk them off cliff here. We do got a few
on the text line.
YouTube, Facebook, text line. We got Sean. We'll just start with the neutral. Jay, what do you think of the linebacker play?
Well, I will say this. I felt just from the naked eye, I think it was okay. I felt like Javen had a pretty good game. You talking about being physical. I know he sat down 77 and knocked 77 out the game right early.
He's been stringing quite a few good games.
He's been the best defensive player.
Yeah.
Now you could probably say something.
The secondary, you can throw those guys in the mix.
Yeah, but
he's been playing well.
He's been it was okay. I felt like they probably, took themselves out of a couple plays by missed alignments and assignments, and just on the basics, but I don't, I'm not a coach. I just felt like they could have been a little bit more consistent overall. And that's the inexperience of playing in these games, because sometimes you can get caught up in the whirlwind of
the hoopla.
Yeah. And it's not that you're not focused, but it's just it takes some experience. So I think they did okay. They could definitely play better. What else you got?
Let's go to Jordan Husker. We need better talent. We died when Dylan went out, and they doubled down on their recruited talent and bullied us the rest of the day. Said exactly, USC is the team that waits until you're vulnerable. They bank on their talent, and then they kill you. I guess that's more of a rant. We got some more questions on the text line. Let's see here. Cornhead says Husker Nation needs to start a petition to have Trev Albert's name removed from Memorial Stadium and have his name removed from Huskers.com. The disgraceful black shirt signed us up for years of misery, hiring a 2-23 coach for $8 million a year. I'm assuming speaking to his versus ranked opponent's record at 2-23 now.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Big Ten. It's tough. And, your record, I'm not making any excuses. The record is the record, but I'm saying, playing ranked opponents when you're at Temple and Baylor,
different.
You're not in the top 15 playing a 20. You're never going in as the higher ranked team. So you're already kind of behind the 8 ball there. And, Nebraska right now, I'll just go the last 2 years, because this first year, there's no way talent-wise. And last year, let a couple slip. And this one is probably one of them where, you just got to go back and really look at that meat of the second and third quarter, which kind of has been a little bit of an issue, throughout a couple times during the year, but they were able to recover. And, the record is not something that's a deterrent. It's something that you got to, okay, let's look at it in the vacuum, in the where we're at and how we get past it. And when you play ranked teams, and there's a lot of parity in college football. So USC came in 23, Nebraska's, probably top 35. There ain't much difference. It's essentially, you're looking at it like opponent. Mm-hmm. So that's why the fundamentals, the little things are so important. Sure, USC depended on their talent, and the low hanging fruit and the really the weak excuses like we need more talent. No, we need to play a little bit better. Because I will tell you this: aligning right, being aggressive, studying right, and doing what you're supposed to do. That ain't got nothing to do with talent. But you got to do it in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And that's what's hard right now when you go and get all this talent and you don't get to foster it and get that continuity. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, okay, Farley's around here somewhere.
Yeah, he's still wondering about.
There was games where me and Farley had to figure it out outside of Coach Samuel and Coach Bull. Not to disrespect them, is that we're out here together. The game is going how the game is going. We got to get and survive to the next day. We got to win. So there was times that I felt I had an advantage or Farley had an advantage on a certain whatever.
All right.
I let him eat. Then I covered his back. He would tell me, I see something here. You're going to have to do something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to play off each other. We were able to do that because we were together so much. And even today, he's my dude, right? So you're not able to do that because of the portal. And it's not an excuse, it's just factual.
Well, I think that's why that secondary is so good, though.
They're older.
Because that's a group of guys that's older and they've played with each other for a long time. That room's been pretty close.
Yeah, and they're veteran laden, and sure, Guthrie's a freshman, but he's able to kind of just get in there and do his thing and kind of, like, I wouldn't say not mess up, but mesh. He's meshing into a known product. And then where you think of the the D line and the linebackers, they're all those guys have played, right? But they're inexperienced playing with each other. And all of them, for the most part, I guess if you say probably not Judy and all that, but they were all trying to figure out where they were, like get their spot. So they were in constant competition, individually focused and motivated, rightfully so. They work hard, want to start. And then now they need to do a better job of meshing. And that's where you got to get in and really, this isn't a time to point the finger. This is the time to really think, what do we need to do? And part of that we need the conversation is me need to do my job better. So we, Harrison, can celebrate and win out there in LSU. So that's or not LSU, but UCLA.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Stop it, Harrison. Stop it. Is it late night last night, man? Was it like midnight?
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break, come back. We'll get to some more of your texts. Harrison will give me. I'm not on the YouTube.
Yeah, we got a couple more we can get to. For sure.
Yeah. I don't know how to sign into the YouTube. So Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle. We'll be right back.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. Direct TV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sauterheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats. Do you want boots that actually feel good on your feet? Meindl delivers premium German-engineered comfort, brought to you right here from Nebraska. Built tough for trails, fields, and everyday wear, and backed by Meindl's Comfort Promise, so you can try them on with confidence. Use promo code THETICKET at MeindlUSA.com, spelled MEINDL, for free shipping. That's MeindlUSA.com. Meindl, comfort you have to feel to believe.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Hello, Husker fans. Stop into Zollner Ford Beatrice for all your automotive needs. Whether new or used, car, truck, crossover, SUV, or EV, we've got them. Shop our ever-changing specials at ZollnerofBeatrice.com or give us a call today and go Big Red. We are Zollner Ford Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
You're listening to Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
What up, we're back. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Take care of all your imaging needs and get you on the right path. But the path that Nebraska was at is unfortunate loss to USC. Got some texts here from Jordan Husker saying we need better talent. And, Harrison said it, and Dylan. When Dylan got hurt, they doubled down on the recruited talent and bullied us. I don't think they bullied us at any point. I mean, there was times that they got after some of our guys, but I think Nebraska wasn't getting bullied. I think Minnesota was more of the bully, and that was why people were so mad. I think it was they executed better. I think they took advantage of, like you said, Dylan got hurt, so they sold out against the run, and once they knew Nebraska wasn't going to be overly aggressive in the pass game, they just played just everything top down.
Well, they had 3 timeouts too. That second half, I'm not sure what all happened there, but we burned those 2 timeouts pretty quick, and then that also kind of put us in a position where USC knew.
Yeah, it puts you in a position where
if we could stop
so we burned the timeout, I think, early in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Then we burned the timeout on that 4th and 1 play when we missed the field goal. So now we're down to 1. So now you fast forward to Nebraska has to score a touchdown to win. So you have 1 timeout, and it was like 3 minutes and some change, and you're backed up. So you're really trying to survive and hold that in your pocket. And hopefully you're hoping that you'll be, bust off a decent, somewhat of an explosive run, and not to flip the field, but flip the momentum, get another like kind of conservative or efficient play, and you're closer to midfield with 2 minutes left. You like your chances. That didn't happen because I think all the way up until the 2-minute warning, I think we were at the 25-yard line, right? And so we ran the ball decently, but it was taking. The operation was very, very slow.
Yeah, we needed at least 10 yards to get the clock to stop just for a second.
Right, so but you're in survival mode when you're backed up like that, and so they were able to, take advantage of, that opportunity. So you got to give them credit. Steve Dean said he feels like the coach staff is working in silos with no collaboration after the first series, no in-game adjustments. Your thoughts? Here's my view on adjustments. And I always talk to Austin about that, right? About this. Hey, man, when you're at halftime, there ain't a lot of adjustments going on.
I was going to say, is that the biggest lie?
It's not a lie. Now, there is. You do make adjustments.
Yeah, okay, I mean, like in high school,
but
we
you're
do
not,
adjustments.
But you're
it's more just talking about what
it is.
You're seeing.
Here's what happens at halftime. You come in and you get confirmation or lack of confirmation that they're running the plays that you kind of prepared for, and you're just really trying to slow down the game. Okay, when they were in 11 personnel and wing formation, this is what you got. Okay, this is check. This is how we played it. Now, if you didn't play it, then that's what you're reviewing of. Okay, this is our own mistake. And then you do make some adjustments, and sometimes, look, I remember at one point in time, we changed up our cover 2 with Coach Darlington one time because we were struggling in our base cover 2. Now, that was probably aided by some other outside factors, but we had to make an adjustment on the run at halftime. There was times in the NFL where we changed up totally how we were, trying to stop a play, just because they had our number, right? And we were trying something. It was pretty much, throwing stuff against the wall and see what sticks, and it ended up working out. Sometimes it didn't. The most important adjustments are during the game, in between series, when you're on the sideline, and I don't know what the percentage is, if it's coach to player, player to player, player to coach, but it needs to be, and I think that scale ever flows based on who's talking and who's not, who's seeing what, and who's not. Here's why it's so important, and this is why I like in-game adjustments, and then you really hammer them home at halftime. You do make adjustments at halftime. But I think if you're just waiting to halftime to make adjustments and everybody thinks that's it, it's not. And I know people go back to when Scott Frost was here or whatever, because they always talk about it. But here's the thing. Nebraska did well because they kind of played the plays, especially defensively, when Scott Frost and those guys were there. They really hammered on formations, tendencies, and that. Well, they didn't understand. They didn't really go into the process of how they play. So you got to look at, even though we stopped the play, are we doing it correctly? And so now for Nebraska, I think the biggest end game or biggest adjustments I'd like to see is player to player, player to coach, coach to player during the game. Because I think that's what helps you be aware of things that could happen at some point in time in the game. I'll tell you, man, for me, I was able to start, all my years here at Nebraska, but some of the best things best teammates I had, I was talking about Ben Butenbach and obviously Carlos Polk, where we were all so invested in even when, I would be in for a while, Carlos would get a series or two, that when I came off the field and we met as linebackers, Coach Bowl would be there. What do he would say, okay, what are you seeing? How you feeling? What did you get? Because he's down there singling in the calls or whatever. And then we're communicating back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm getting confirmation from Ben Butenbach or whoever. It's like, okay, yeah, you see that? Hey, be aware of this. Remember X, Y, and Z that we picked up on film. Okay, all that's going on, right? When we're on the sideline. Then if there was something that I needed to get worked out with the DBs or the D-line, we're huddling outside of the coaches. Now, and we're not disrespecting the coaches. It's so loud in there, okay? You got to talk in close proximity. But we're talking about, all right, listen, when we were in this underfront and they ran this and they're pulling, double, we used to call it double G pull, where they pulled the onside guard and backside guard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it shifts everything. How are you going to play this? Because you're getting a pin down block by that tackle. Are you going underneath it or fighting pressure? Because if you're going underneath it, all right, then I got to really either beat you to it or I got to trail you, because that's going to open up that direct cutback, right? Because that you have to expect that backside guard, in this case, is going to try to go over the center and cut Farley off. So now my job gets harder. I can't be overly aggressive. So those are the in-game adjustments I think they need to get better at, and understanding that communication is key. When you get into the thick of the things, communication is probably the most important thing, because that's the only way you're going to figure it out. And so
it makes sense. It's a younger, especially in that front.
Right. And that's where
Younger
the leadership,
group.
they got to, just got to take a hold of it and really own it. And sure, could you call different fronts and coverage? I'm sure Coach Butler would say, yeah, I could do X, Y, and Z. But we got to get our efficiency and execution up. And only way to do that is take some more ownership of it. And that's a process you go through. I talked about Guthrie. I'll talk about when I was a freshman starting. I was like Guthrie. I was meshing into what was going on. And then as I got older in my tenure, it flipped. And that's this part of the process. You got Eric on the text line. At the end of the day, I'm tired of watching uninspired football. I thought they were. I don't think the uninspired was probably Minnesota. I don't think that was uninspired last night.
Yeah, again, like outside of Minnesota, I haven't watched a team that when it goes out there.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
It's a team that fails to execute and communicate at crucial times. Like I really don't see a whole lot of loafing, like especially on offense, even when things are struggling. Like
I don't see what we've seen when Nice Mike was here and at times I don't see
like
guys,
even the wide receivers are willing to block.
Yeah, I don't see guys tapping out. So I don't think it's uninspired. I just think what we need to is our execution. And what was it in geometry? They put it was E with the 2 up there.
Yeah. What do we go? What are we talking about here?
Execution and efficiency.
Oh,
E
okay.
double.
Okay.
Whatever that means. That's what you know how they wear those shirts.
Yeah.
They need to just walk around with the E and the little 2 there.
E squared.
Yeah, E squared.
Yeah.
Execution and efficiency.
Amen.
Equals excellence. E triple. E to the 3rd power. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to just, really, make light of it, but that's really where you need to get, better at, because I don't think it's, I'll push back, Eric. I felt like Minnesota is definitely, you could just see it wasn't their best effort. But
I'll
I think
concede on that.
But I would think for the most part they played hard, so that's why it was such an outlier. So they fixed it. I just think they need to get their E squared going. And then they'll get the last E, excellence, the big E.
E cubed.
Yeah, E cubed. Big Daddy Travis says Dana started calling some plays, bad plays, and way too conservative. You can't be conservative in a game like this, no matter who the QB is. There's a little bit of meat on the bone from there.
4th and 1. What are you doing with TJ Lateef?
4th and 1
in that situation where they called the timeout.
Well, what happened was it seems like he was late getting into his alignment because he was supposed to be out there, and then they were running the tush push where they just have Heinrich Harburg and like 2 people just bullying them, and call the timeout because then the worst thing that you want there is a young freshman, and he's a true freshman, and
you just saw him fumble one,
missed the line, and then you get a 5-yard penalty. Now it's 4th and 6, and you don't kick the field goal unless you are confident in your kicker, and you barely missed it. Now, I don't really care whether you barely miss it. I just care if you make or miss it. Really that decision, like all 4th downs, are only good when you make it. And when you don't make it, everybody's gonna like, well, you should have done the opposite. And that's coaching. That's part of the game. I said it last night on the Jay Foreman post-game show. Football has changed. The only way the only real true example football has truly changed from when I played is it's more essentially it's 4 quarters of situational football now.
Well, we can end on a positive note from Frank. I was pleasantly surprised by the Huskers' play last night. Definitely a step in the right direction. Gives me hope.
There you go. I mean,
I was seeing a lot of torches last night, so I wanted to show that there is some people out there that are.
I don't think it's time to.
I'm not there yet.
No, not at all. I think it's. I wouldn't even think that was it. I think it's. They did some good things. Did some not so good things. I just think the lull in the game and like this, and it's not even the lull. It's just taking advantage of your opportunity is probably the most frustrating thing. I don't think.
That's where this team is killing me.
I don't think it's I don't think it's time to pack up on the season or anything like that. I feel like they got a great opportunities down the stretch. They got a big game coming up here next Saturday night at 8:00. That's where their focus got to go after they rest and recover and rehab from this game, and part of it is the recovery and rehab is looking at the game and getting better at it, and then they got to get right back to work. It's no different if they were able to win this game 21-17. And like I said, whether it was Minnesota and Michigan, it's in the dive into the details, because that's going to lead you to more consistent play to get through these games and years down the road. So, no, there's more positive than negative. There's, they're way better than they were last year.
Yeah, I mean, we can go through years prior if you think it's.
Well, I mean, year 1 or year 2 is better than year 1. Year 3 is better than year 2. I think they just came in with high expectations because, and rightfully so, based on offseason hype and the schedule. Everybody else has gotten better. We probably had some circumstances, obviously, some injury bug and stuff like that, and growing pains, and you got to work and weather yourself through it. And I think, really, to be honest with you, the game was kind of even, Steven, right? 3rd down and all that, and only 1 turnover.
It looked a lot like all of our games so far.
But you know
Nebraska
where
had
you know where
fully
USC really
back.
probably won the game, and it's not even a negative against Nebraska. Is USC didn't lose the game on special teams?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Real quick, and then we'll come back and get a quick segment. Is part of the reason, the big reason they lost to Notre Dame. Now, one, they didn't do well against the run, and now they gave up 3 explosive plays in the run. So the numbers run game wise was a little bit skewed. But after they I think they tied or took the lead against Notre Dame, the next kickoff, Notre Dame ran it back.
Mm-hmm.
And they've kind of been struggling. And then they just didn't give up a huge return against Nebraska. They covered well. So that was something I bet you even Lincoln Riley said.
It was the first thing he said was special teams is the key.
Right. And so they worked on it for 2 weeks. And so the credit to Nebraska, but then it's also a bigger credit to USC that they didn't lose it. And I don't think Nebraska lost it. It was kind of, they broke even.
I'd say so.
Teams. So anyways, Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle. We'll be right back.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Baumgars is hosting a ladies' night tonight from 5 to 8 p.m. Stop into your local Baumgars store for a special shopping event. Ladies will receive a 20% off discount from regular price on their purchases and can enter to win gift cards. Plus, a portion of the evening's proceeds will be donated to local cancer centers, hospitals, and women's shelters. Be sure to stop by the Baumgars Ladies' Night special shopping event tonight from 5 to 8 p.m. See you soon.
On in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Do you want boots that actually feel good on your feet? Meindl delivers premium German-engineered comfort, brought to you right here from Nebraska. Built tough for trails, fields, and everyday wear, and backed by Meindl's Comfort Promise, so you can try them on with confidence. Use promo code THETICKET at MeindlUSA.com, spelled MEINDL, for free shipping. That's MeindlUSA.com. Meindl, comfort you have to feel to believe.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Calling all caffeinated Husker fans. Looking to boost your energy and focus? Caffeine alone won't do the trick. Enter Cranium Energy Drinks based out of Fremont, Nebraska, founded by lifelong Husker fans. Cranium is more than just caffeine. Every can has highly dosed nootropics that help boost mental clarity, paired with 150 milligrams of natural caffeine to provide smooth, long-lasting energy as well as enhanced focus. Find it at Hy-Vee Health Markets in Nebraska and Council Bluffs, as well as select gas stations and supplement stores. Or purchase online at drinkcranium.com, spelled with a Y after the I. Enter code EARLYBREAK for 10% off your order.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, and Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Putting a bow, putting the bed from USC, onward, outward, and against UCLA. So, they're coming off a bye week, much like USC was, and so you got to expect their best effort, especially at home. I don't know what the travel plans are, but when you travel that far, you're going to be on a little bit of a disadvantage in a short week.
Didn't they just get belted by Indiana before the bye?
They did.
Yeah,
they
so
did.
they're going to be
extremely motivated. They had won 3 in a row after firing their coach. Looked a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, that was good. Indiana's just been humbling everybody this year,
yeah.
but I think that's a
pretty
good.
And it was a
UCLA
beatdown at Indiana. I don't know the kickoff time when they played. They definitely were asleep, and they got tornadoed out there, and they were on the road, but they were able to, for a bye week, you got to think they're able to go back, reevaluate, get better, really hone in on some of the things maybe they were doing from a positive standpoint for the 3 wins in a row, address some of the reasons why they got blown out by Indiana, and then they were able to kind of sit back and watch Nebraska for a week and a half, and then they got to watch Nebraska against somewhat of a like opponent in USC, and
that's a big bye week for you. I didn't even realize that's the first time they've had a moment just to sit down since the whirlwind started.
Right,
and that's with the 3 wins,
yeah,
and then a tough loss. But now they got a moment. To your point, all right, we know what's working. We can hone in on it and see what's not working.
Yeah, and when stuff like that happens, and you usually get that uptick that first week because it's new, and it'll be interesting to see how LSU comes out of their bye week. But when they did it 3 weeks in a row, there's some substance there. There's a lot of meat on that bone. So they're trying to get back to that. And so Nebraska, just knowing that, it's not going to change how you prep, and it's not going to make UCLA 3 steps faster or anything like that. But you just got to know when you get on that plane, you're going to get their best effort. So you got to prepare for it. And you got to, start by dealing with what you need to deal with from last night. You got to recover. You got to really hone in on the things you need to address. You're not going to be able to go out there and practice for 3 hours. You're going to have to make your practices as efficient as possible, and you got to really do the extra work outside of practice, and then show up with your mindset right. And good teams don't lose 2 in a row. Matt Rule said it, and for up to the season they've done a good job of that. So you got to expect nothing less going out there to UCLA, because you got to think those guys are going to be ready to go. They're going to have a running quarterback, so defensively, this is it, and
you got 3 left.
And offensively, no matter who's playing quarterback, we got to run the ball effectively, especially on the road. I know that say TJ Lateef has to play this week. I can almost guarantee the passing game will be more aggressive, just because he has a week to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you expect a better performance, and special teams just come up and be special, and Nebraska is going to get a hard fought victory out there in UCLA. So until next week, we will be on post game late, Harrison, to 1 or 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock kickoff, 11 end of the game, 11:30. I'm gonna be going to like 1:30, 2 o'clock. Just heads up.
You'll be back at 8 in the morning?
I think so. That's TBT.
All
Or
right.
to be determined. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll holler at you next week.